I decided to do color blindness as my Mendelian disease, and it follows an X-linked recessive pattern of inheritance. Here on the first slide, I have set up the pedigree for this disease. The genotypes for men and women who have this disease are different due to this being an X-linked recessive disease. In men, the genotype that would need to be present for an individual to have this disease would be X to the C, Y. With males only having one X chromosome, if that X chromosome contains the gene for color blindness, the individual will automatically be colorblind. If the individual does not have that gene on their X chromosome, they will be unaffected and will not be colorblind. In this case, males are not able to be carriers for the disease. Females, on the other hand, have two X chromosomes, and with this disease being a recessive inheritance pattern, women would need to have the gene for color blindness on both of their X chromosomes in order for them to be affected. If a woman has the genotype X to the C, X, then the individual will be a carrier for color blindness. This means the individual would be able to pass the color blindness gene onto their offspring, but they would not be affected by color blindness. If the female does not have the color blindness gene on either X chromosome, they will be unaffected and will not be colorblind. To show some examples from my pedigree, if you look at the first generation, individual 1 is going to be a colorblind male, meaning he will have the phenotype of X to the C, Y, and individual 2 in this generation is an unaffected female who will have the genotype of XX. These two individuals get married and end up having 3 offspring. Because the father is colorblind and has the gene on the X chromosome, and the mother has none of the genes on her X chromosomes, individuals 2 and 3 from the generation will be female carriers that do not have color blindness and have a genotype of X to the C, X. The son who will be an individual who will not be colorblind and will have the genotype of XY due to the fact that his father gave him the Y chromosome and the X chromosome from his mother did not contain the gene for color blindness. In the second generation, individual 4 is going to be a male who is not colorblind and has the genotype XY, and he is going to get married to individual 5 in the generation who is a colorblind female and will have the genotype X to the C, X to the C. These individuals end up having 3 children together, which are going to be individuals 4, 5, and 6 of the third generation. In the third generation, individual 4 is going to be a male who was colorblind and has the genotype X to the C, Y. Individual 5 is going to be a female who is a carrier for the gene with the genotype of X to the C, X. And individual 6 is going to be an unaffected, non-colorblind male with the genotype XY. Looking at generation 4, individual 2, the 2 individuals have the phenotype X to the C, Y, and X to the C, X to the C. In this case, both of their children are going to be colorblind and have the same genotypes as their parents, who are also colorblind. Individuals who are colorblind do not see color in the way a typical individual would. Most of the time, being colorblind does not mean that you are able to see no color at all. Instead, you may be able to see a range of different shades and colors that are different to what others can see. Cones are receptors within the eye, and when looking at the eyes of individuals with this disease, the cones are not transmitting the proper information about light and images back to the brain. Individuals who are colorblind could have either red-green color deficiency or blue-yellow color deficiency. In red-green color deficiency, individuals see the colors red and green differently. This type of color blindness is also going to be the most common. If you have blue-yellow color deficiency, individuals will see the colors blue and yellow differently due to the effects of the S cones in the eye. The mutations within 3 different genes cause color blindness. The OPN1LW, the OPN1MW, and the OPN1SW are the genes that are found in the retina that make the opsin pigments within the cones and cause this disease. These genes are found on the X chromosome, as this disease is an X-linked recessive disease. When looking at the symptoms and manifestations of color blindness individuals, they may notice that they are able to only see certain shades and colors, or that the brightness of certain colors are different than what others might see. With that being said, it is often difficult for people to even realize that they are colorblind due to the fact that their vision has always looked the same since they were born. It may take another individual asking them to point out the difference between two colors for them to even realize that they may be colorblind. The Ishihara test is the most common test used to diagnose individuals with red-green color blindness. And when giving this test, providers will show individuals a picture of a circle of dots in different colors with a number hidden within the circle. Some of the pictures will have numbers that you can only see if you have normal vision, and others will have numbers that you can only see if you have the disease. As of now, there is no treatment for color blindness. But with that being said, there are glasses that are made for people who are colorblind that could help increase the contrast between colors in order to help individuals make out more of a difference between certain colors and shades. But it will not allow them to see any new colors that they could not see beforehand.